Joining me to help navigate the waters of friendship is temperament therapist Melanie Ross Mills. She's the author of the book, The Friendship Bond.
Local author Melanie Ross Mills has written a guide to help you figure it all out.
Joining us right now to explain why borrowing from the Bank of Friendship might not be in your wisest interest, Meredith Verdone, Bank of America Chief CMO, and Dr. Melanie Ross Mills, relationship expert.
We brought in the expert, his author and relationship expert.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Have you?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
For some people, it really could be life-changing. It can bring unhealthy relationships into healthy relationships. We don't have the brain fog that we might have if we were having this addictive personality, addictive traits towards alcohol.
I want you to grab a Post-it note. I want you to write down notice, shift, and rewire. We are going to shift our mindsets from negative bias to positive. So we really had to look at, who do I want to have around me? If you're the person that goes to worst case scenario, are you ruminating? Do you spiral into negative thought processes really fast? I want you to really pay attention to what you're thinking and how you're thinking. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Notice how we're thinking, what we're thinking, then we're gonna shift into gratitude. Gratitude is the quickest way to change our neural pathways from negative to positive. Yes, and that's what I love. This study is highlighting the value of sleep, and it actually can cause mental illness and depression when we do not get enough sleep. Guard our time in this area just like we guard exercise or diet or being with friends and family. So everyone that is hired by a company is leading in some way, shape, or form. And what do leaders do? They contribute. So look at how you're contributing to the workplace. Am I using my skill set? I have abilities and experiences and gifting. Am I actually utilizing these? Good bosses will play to our strengths and recognize this. How are you embracing your worth and embracing the worth in those around you, even if they might get on your nerves? So I think we move forward with care and respect and empathy and compassion and try to understand where each side is coming from. When the friendships don't have your best interest in mind and they are not handling your hearts with care, then it is time to reevaluate, because we only have so much time to invest in our friendships. But what really stuck out to me was the mental health. What they found was that half of essential workers were diagnosed with mental health disorders. Wow. 18 to 24, you guys, think about our college age kids that have really been misplaced, displaced, trying to figure things out. Maybe they didn't even get to college. It's been a serious issue that we need to look at and how it's affecting them mentally, and also be sensitive and ask the tough questions, provoke dialogue, encourage transparency, especially with this age group, because they're trying to figure it out. We could really be looking at some prolonged stress, some collective trauma. I think it's important for us to discuss and have this dialogue so we can continue to shed light on this very serious issue. If you are struggling with some mental health, depression or anxiety or fear, please don't hesitate to reach out, because you are absolutely not alone. These are staggering statistics. And so we look for worth in accolades and status and who we marry, if we're not married, if we have children, where we live. The list goes on with these props, or what I call them, that we will use to prop us up to make us feel worthy. And the reality is, if you are breathing and you're on this earth, your worth is equally as valuable as your neighbor. We look at why we're staying there. Why are we choosing to stay in these friendships that are not reciprocated and aren't healthy? Is it a worth issue? Are we afraid they won't approve of us? Do we need their approval? So if we're not getting healthy ourselves, then we're not going to draw those healthy people to us. We were having play dates, we were having sport groups, we were having football games, we were having ballet, we were having so many activities pre-COVID that we would interact with everyone on a regular basis, where they were in our routines, and we actually believe they really care about us, right? They probably do. But then we have COVID and we're wondering, where did they go? I thought they really cared about me. They're not even checking on my child. So we start to kind of really have some time to pause and assess who are our close-knit friends that we are actually wanting to make an effort with, that are making an effort with us. Suicide rates are up. Homeless rates are up. We can actually switch our mindset to think about, how can I help the people that are in need and get outside of myself and share love that I do have with those that are really struggling? How can we help spread the love in the situations that we're in? How can we give of ourselves?
What if you're dating someone that's on the opposite end politically from yourself?
Run. I'm just kidding. It's okay to be on the opposite end, but I do encourage people to figure out what their non-negotiables are. So there's some things that are in keeping with our value systems that we might really find important. It's okay if we disagree on some things as well. And so it's good to actually have dialogue and opinions. We all need
people that are negative and critical and possibly toxic. That's not helping us. We cannot become positive if we are hanging out with heavy negative thinkers.
Meet up, pause, and reflect on the things that are good.
It's very easy to complain, to find the negative, because there's a lot of stressful things going on. We really do need to see the good things that are also happening around us. Change your mindset to where you're making an effort to see the good.
Dr. Mills also answers your questions about dating during a pandemic.
Deal with dating during the pandemic. It actually could be a really good thing, because you get to know people on a deeper level because you're not having all the distractions. You actually get to know people via virtually or the phone or FaceTime, where you're forced to communicate in ways that you might normally not be communicating, especially in the beginning.
And life's about connection, and so that's what's so interesting about the Bank of America Friends Again report, is it's showing us it's causing major division in friendships by not paying back our debts.
I mean, if you're afraid to face somebody because you feel like you owe them money, that ruins the relationship right away.
Exactly, which is what is so fabulous about this app, that you can immediately just deposit $5.
Zelle, we know, launched the mobile app. I would imagine that a lot of this campaign, right, is to drum up some of the momentum.
Wanted to call some attention to it, at the same time get the benefit of some of these relationships.
Cut out a friend because of this debt that they owe, or the IOU. And so what this does, it allows you to reconcile your friendship because there's been this division. If you haven't paid back, it's awkward. It creates anxiety and stress.
If you bought dinner for the both of you and have been waiting a few days to get paid back, believe me, the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to ask. The sooner you clear up the situation, the sooner you can be friends again. In collaboration with Bank of America through Payback a Friend Day, we want to encourage people to use their mobile banking app to reconnect with friends, because friendships are greater than any debt. Look at yourself and go, am I in this to win an argument? Am I trying to make my point? Or am I here to hear their side too? Like, is this an exchange, or is this more about me? That's why it's so important as parents to connect with our kids, form that bond so that they do have that safe place and they can be open to talk to you and communicate.
All these social media outlets have definitely caused a little more temptation in the relationship realm.
I talk about compartments. We can place someone in an acquaintance where they might not handle our hearts with care and become a best friend. It doesn't mean you're not friends with them. So that's why I think it's very important to remain self-aware and have discernment to be able to identify what they might actually be wanting from you. Is it based on character? Is it based on superficial things?
By the way, her website is MelanieRossMills.com. She's a great follow on social media, and she has a podcast, Life Bonds Podcast, as well, where you can get more into that friendship discussion.